Welcome everyone to this session on AI and education. I think you'll agree with me that this session will be one of the most important sessions at this conference. We've all been educated, we have children to educate, and this is how AI is going to come in. So please welcome my panelists. Do you want to take a seat? Now, I'm going to let them do the hard work and introduce themselves and say what they do. So, Julene, would you like to start?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Jolene from Squirrel AI Learning. And Squirrel AI is an AI adaptive learning education company. And we provide adaptive learning platform with personalized learning content. So we hope to bring very individualized learning contents and a way of learning for students so it can save some time and increase the efficiency. And our company founded in 2014, and our system launched to the market in 2017. And now we have about 2,013 learning centers in China and almost 2 million students. And we love to start collaboration with universal companies and to help bring equality of education for the global education. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we'll find out more later. So, Stefania.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Stefania Giannini. I'm Director General for Education at UNESCO. You know, UNESCO is the UN specialized agency for education, culture, and science. But more than this, in this next 10 years is the agency which is responsible of the achievement of the coordination of the achievement of the SDG 4. That means inclusive quality education for all. And among other issues, we are focusing a lot on AI and education. I think that also in this plenary introductory remarks, we heard a lot of language about education, so it would be a pleasure to share with you what we are doing, which are the challenges, and also tremendous opportunities I think we can.
Yeah, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. Daniel.
Hi, it's Daniel Burgos. Goedemorgen, good morning. I'm vice rector in an online university in Spain called La Rioja, where the best wine of the world is, in the north, okay? I'm also UNESCO chair. I work with Stefania and her team, UNESCO chair on e-learning. And we are a fully online university. We started 10 years ago, and we are now in 7 countries with 40,000 students. And we work everything based on adaptation and recommendation. We were more focused on analytics, and this is the reason why we are here to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So just so you all know that this chat will go on for about 25 minutes, and then we will have 5 minutes at the end for your questions. And I'd love to see loads of hands in the air. Now, Stefania, I want to come to you first. How is AI going to change the classroom?
Well, let me put it, first of all, in the frame we are moving on. We talk a lot about climate change, no? It's a crucial topic, but we don't talk so much as we need, about the learning crisis we are living today. Some figures to give the sense of what we are talking about. Close to 200 million 60 children who today should be in the school are still out of the school worldwide, and more than 700 million one out on six at world level didn't acquire the proficiency in the basic competencies of maths and reading and writing. So for us, in order to be able really to achieve quality inclusive education for all in the next 10 years, it's important to have new tools, new scenarios, and new devices can help, and new frameworks can help schools, teachers, learners, and also in higher education to go ahead. I have, I think, 2 kinds of messages. The first one is starting with the good news. AI has the potential to help equity, inclusive, through education, in education, because it affects positively policymakers, teachers, and learners. Policymakers, as big data now can give us the opportunity to have a big picture and to see where real bottlenecks and gaps are, and to go straight to the point in terms of investment and building better policy in education, generally speaking. That's what we are doing at UNESCO. Maybe you know that UNESCO has the main international provider of data in education, which is the UIS, UNESCO Institute of Statistics. When you hear something about 200 million children our own data, but now we are using big data in order to provide governments and policymakers a clear picture of where we are. The second point is how and to what extent AI can help teachers. I think also the Amazon CTO showed very clearly something which is already real world in the classroom. Let me start with a very concrete example about language learning. You know, when you have a second language acquisition process through devices like this, I can show you later, maybe it can help a bit, you can identify where main difficulties this specific single learner has, and then you can personalize the teaching process. So this is something which can really help and allow us to scale up and have very good achievements, not only in language learning, but also with other subjects. And about learners, for sure, it's about being able to identify the social-emotional dimension of learning, which is quite a critical point today. And thanks to AI and some devices, it's easier to do that. And to help, more than this, help children with disabilities. UNESCO is focusing quite a lot about this topic, and the next Global Education Monitoring Report, which is something like a flagship on the House, will focus on inclusion and how we can help, through AI, children with disabilities. But there are also bad news, I should say, or some more worrying. We must be very honest, right? Yes. There are some challenges which is related to the risks and the dark side of the coin, right? Yeah. First, about government's commitment. I want to congratulate first with the Netherlands, because we heard something very important today about their commitment and investment and how much they are keen to develop this issue. But let me say that today in the world, out of more than 200 countries, only 18 had already developed AI strategies. And half than these have funded and implemented these strategies. China, South Korea, and Emirates, just to mention some of the big countries which are focusing on that.
And why do you think those countries are ahead of the other countries? Because the governments are taking action, they're interested, they have money. Like, what about the other countries? Why are they falling behind?
Why, you mean?
Yeah.
I think because, you know, I can say that also as former minister in my country, which is Italy, recently, when you have to develop a national level, a comprehensive policy on AI, and then focusing maybe more on education, it's not simply a question of political will that you can find. No, it's something that now it's currently a common topic, a common commitment, but it's about deciding to invest more there and not here. Okay. So this is about political decisions. So that's why better data can help governments.
So it's priority, obviously.
Yeah, and the last point, I mean, what can we do to face these challenges and to help AI to keep the right direction, no? And to keep the tremendous opportunities I mentioned before? I think that still we have to first being able to create, I should say, policy ecosystem where we can put governments, the private sector, which is now the dominant component of AI policy and implementation, and universities, researchers, and everybody who can help in terms of developing new systems and new ideas. But at the very core of the process in education, still we have teachers. Without teachers on board, let me say quite clearly, you can have all the machine learning potential of improving the quality of education, but it is absolutely impossible to do something which can be effective in the near future. That's why we are focusing much on empowering teacher about AI, and this is about teachers training all around the world in different regions. UNESCO with other partners, we are improving this kind of cooperating with the private sector also, and this is about yes, in terms of gender gaps, which is still another critical point. I want to show this publication that we released this year. I'd blush if I could. The title is the sentence of this voice assistant, which hundreds of million people in the world every single morning can hear. No? Siri, I think is the name. And in this publication, you can find a lot of interesting data. For instance, if I remember well, simply 12 women in machine learning research are actually involved and currently involved worldwide. So we can see from this publication how and to what extent AI can help to fill the gender gap or to increase it.
To increase it, yeah. I actually read that last night, and it is very interesting why it's called that. If you say something, well, it's changed now, but if you had said something bad to Siri, which has a young female voice, then she comes back and she says, oh, I blush, if I could, which is, you're like, oh my God, how would you react if somebody had called you that name? They've changed it now, but to something less, less tame. But it's actually not funny, and it's a fantastic report to read. There's lots of stats in it about female, male, and being trained up in various STEM subjects. So it is a very, very good report.
We cannot have the most important, maybe recently, a revolution in the world, excluding half of the world, more than half of the world, human intelligence and human capital. And the last point, if I may, really the last is about ethics. I mean, there is an ethical dimension in AI that we must address from the very beginning. This is something that international organizations are responsible for. It's about privacy and data, and managing data for students, for sure, and teachers, and this is something that UNESCO is taking care of.
Thank you for that. Jolene, I might come to you. So Squirrel AI learning, so tell us kind of how it works and why AI is important in your product, basically.
Sure. Well, we use like machine learning and algorithms to build up our AI adaptive platform. So, and then we develop our own content, such as subjects, English, mathematics, and by the way, we are doing English version for mathematics and English in order to go to overseas countries in the future. And then the students can do assessment first, and then we can recognize what are the weaknesses and what are the strengths of a student. And then the system will automatically recommend what's the most appropriate and suitable learning contents for the students in the next stage. So each different student has their own learning path. None of the students are learning in the same way. So why we think AI is so important? Because even in the remote areas in China or Africa or anywhere, the students are not at the level you expect. They are really lower, much lower. And for example, there was a news in China early that in really poor area in China, the students of grade 6, they are learning the same contents as the students from Beijing, but they don't understand anything. Why? Because they are really, really less knowledge. So with personalized learning, it can recognize what their level is, so what they need, and with AI, and then the AI system can just help the students to learn whatever they should learn. Doesn't have to be at 6th grade or doesn't have to be in their original grade. It can be anything. Like for example, we do have called back tracing system. A student at 8th grade, they might have some knowledge from 6th grade that they are not mastered yet. So the system will recommend the knowledge from 6th grade, so they can learn.
In terms of the remote areas, would they be poorer areas, but would they have the money for technology? Because it's all well and good saying, okay, well, you're in a remote area, Squirrel AI learning will come and save the day, but do they have the money for technology?
Yeah, actually in China it's better that in the poor areas, the schools, the buildings, and the lab, the computers and the internet, they are there already, which is we really need to thank for the government to doing all of this. But they don't have teachers.
Okay.
They change their teachers in the primary school, eight math teachers over 6 years. And one teacher is teaching 5 subjects for 3 grades. So they don't have software. So with AI learning, we can provide those kind of AI technology and contents to those teachers, because those teachers are not really qualified as a teacher, right? But they can use the system to help the students. So in our business model, we don't encourage 100% of the time with AI system. As Stefania mentioned, human teachers are very, very important. We can't do anything without human, right?
I think
So we encourage 30% of time the students need to interact and communicate with human teachers.
Yeah.
And 70% of time learning AI. We can
Okay.
say in this way, human teachers is using AI technology and platform together teach the
Yeah.
students. That's a better way.
Yeah, because your learning system is for after schools, isn't it? So it's not replacing primary education, is that
Well,
right?
yeah, we do have after-school tutoring, and also we work with public schools.
Okay.
So the public schools use our system as supplementary learning
Okay,
contents.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that sounds really good. Daniel, I might move on to you. So you're in an online university, and you've how many thousands of students? Did you tell me?
40,000 now.
40,000. Okay, very good. And how long has the university been going for?
10 years.
10 years. So 10 years, that's 10 years of data from from students doing their degrees, their, what is it, masters. What do you do with that data to help them then?
Well, we work very much on prediction. We call it estimate because of legal reasons, but it's the same thing, okay, prediction. So we take all the historic data from our students and teachers, because we work with both branches, students and teachers. I fully agree with Jolene's and Stefania's words that teachers are part of the chain, of course, and they are the key in some sense. We work with adult people, so it's a little different because in our cases, teachers are more mentors than actually for primary and secondary school. But anyway, they are a key part of the chain. And we take all the historic data and we cluster people, behaviors, and also the grades and the results, the outputs, everything there. And we predict how this student, particular student, will behave in the future. Mainly focused, for instance, on dropout or on a student teacher's attrition, for instance, okay? It's really good for us because we can actually provide recommendation, personalized recommendation about the learning itinerary for students and about a set of actions for tutors and teachers that actually support better their classes.
So you can notice when somebody is not logging in enough, not doing their work, and you can actually see that happening, and then you can say, okay, this person needs help.
Yeah, it's like a mother. It's exactly the same.
Well,
Say, if you do this like this, you will not end your semester. It's exactly the same, okay? So it's not so much artificial intelligence, but common sense. So we do this, it's halfway, okay? It's not fully automated. So we have 80-90% is coming from algorithms and prediction. But the last step is for us is the human touch. Always there is a teacher later making the reading and the right interpretation to provide the final recommendation, always.
But if I'm being argumentative, if people say, well, you're an adult, you know, these people who are doing the degrees and masters are adults and they should be able to get on with it and not be watched. You know, it's not a nanny state. You know, what would you say to that?
Yeah, it's not a matter of, I don't know, our average age is around 40 years old.
40
People come,
years old.
yes, a second chance, or to wrap up the master that they didn't finish when they were younger.
Yeah.
So they come very determined and motivated to make the things happening, but real life happens also there. they have a full-time job and families, and they want to go to the movies or to the soccer game, okay? And at the same time, in parallel, they want to run a master degree, for instance, okay? Which is a full-time master degree. So sometimes the maths at the end doesn't add up, okay? And they don't have time enough. So the point to us is more a psychological support and mentoring than talking about actual content. Of course, we provide recommendations about content. We provide recommendations about the program and how they can follow the activities and follow up the final results and the labs, whatever. But 70% of our time is just talking to them, okay? It's like we always say that they need love. They need some people behind. And we call even people by phone every 2 weeks, okay, to provide a personal counseling for them. Coming from the data, we have a dashboard, and all the data come to us, and we have the dashboard, and we base on the data to provide this counseling. But the counseling is personal-based, and very much focused on the emotional and psychological part than on the content.
So you've taken that into context, which is good. In terms of price, so obviously education is at all different levels across the world. I might ask all the three of you actually on the price. So, like, is it expensive to use Squirrel AI Learning?
Well, its average price is about 20 to 25, well, 20 to 30 US dollars per class, well, 1 hour. And it varies from like Beijing, Shanghai, or the 6th tier of the cities. But for remote areas or really poor areas, we do donations. And we started donating 1 million accounts to underprivileged families if they come to us, and also for some pretty poor schools. So it's, well, because we are a business, right, commercial company, so we need to get revenue, but it's average price, But it's one-to-one tutoring, so the students get personalized learning, which is actually pretty low cost.
Okay, great. Okay, Daniel, how much is it to do a degree?
Yeah, it depends on a couple of things. We have like 25% of all our programs are for free. They are open education based. Okay, we have a platform just for that. We collaborate with UNESCO and the International Council for Open and Distance Education and the Open Education Research Council. So 25 is for free. So people can go there and just do their whatever they want to learn, and they get an accreditation system, and that's it. For the other people, for the private ones that they want actually to achieve and enroll in a paid master or bachelor or PhD program, it's around 3,000 euros a year if you are based in Spain. We have also branches and universities in Latin America, like Colombia, Ecuador, and also in Florida, in 7 countries in total. And it depends very much on the country, but you can do it from starting 2,000 euros a year, okay? And if you say the magic word, inspire minds, you will get some vouch off, okay?
Say that again. What's the word?
Inspire minds, okay? You say, yeah, it's for the voucher, okay?
You get a discount.
An extra 5, yeah.
Okay, very good. We're actually into Q&A time, so thank you very much for that. So if you have a question, just raise your hand and just say your name and where you're from and which panelist you'd like to answer the question. So we've got somebody in the front row over here, and then we've got another person there. So we've got 2 here, and we'll see if we'll take these 2 first. So this person here, yeah, have you got a mic? Yeah, do you want to stand up?
Oh, yeah, yes. Well, my name is Mario from Mexico. De México, mucho gusto. My question is, I have 4 children. The oldest is 18 years. He just started university in Mexico. So I was wondering if instead of going to a physical university, that he take something online like Universidad La Rioja. What do you think about that? I mean, because as a father, to change our state of mind and to say to a child, don't go to the university now, take it online, and maybe go to live to Spain or Netherlands and study online instead of stay in Mexico and take a physical, go to the university physical, no? What would you think about? I mean, because it's a tough decision to change our minds. I don't know if I explain myself.
Okay. To me?
Yes, whichever one.
No, please.
Yeah, it's okay. I think we very much fight for integration, so you can actually collect from everywhere and make a personalized program, so you can actually follow your actual path, okay? So you can integrate from everywhere. You can integrate from Mexico, from the Netherlands, or the States, whatever. And you create your own program that can be accredited by a centralized or even not a centralized system, okay? So in fact, the point to me is that your personalization should come not just from the content, but also from the source, okay? So you can actually work and combine and make an aggregation program for you, your children, or whoever you want, okay?
Thank you very much. So this lady here. Oh, sorry. Would you like to come in? Yes. Sorry.
This topic is quite important, I think. I think that the more we'll personalize, as we're doing, teaching and learning paths, both at university level and in the school systems, the more we need a strong quality assurance system in order to check and to be available to evaluate the results of these new kind of models. And this is something that we are doing globally with universities, association, regionally and country level, and for the school systems in terms of providing ministers and governments the right tools to have an evaluation assessment machine, which can give the sense that we are going to quality and not simply, amplifying the access to open sources like it is.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And this lady. Yeah. So just talk really into that box.
Okay, hi, I'm Anna. I'm an AI student from the Netherlands. I'm totally a huge fan of AI in education and adaptive learning. But I was wondering how much does Squirrel AI account for explainability? Because education is such a sensitive topic. How much do you explain what your algorithms do, and how much do the teachers understand about it?
I think, are you saying about how much can you explain what the algorithms do, is it? Yeah. And what you tell people? Is that kind of your question?
Sorry, how much?
Yeah, so, you've got your algorithms, and you've got your algorithms in your business, but how much can you tell to the public or your students what you're actually doing? Are you very transparent? Do you explain it a lot?
Fully.
Like to the users, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the question?
Yeah. Should I go first?
Ethics is about ethics. No.
Yeah, all right. Actually, it was very hard at the very beginning because we started telling about the technology, the inside technology to the users, but they don't understand anything. So then we changed our strategy. And at the very beginning, we started telling those inside stories to some users who are really interested in technology. And once they've started using, and their kids, they are using it, and they have good feedback, that they are our very good examples. And then we started telling the market that what you can gain, what you can achieve instead of the technology. We only say that we are AI adaptive education. That's it. We don't tell too much about algorithm because the users, the customers, they don't understand anything. They just want to know what I can get, what kind of result I can get, how long does it take, those kind of effectiveness. So, yeah.
Okay.
Did I answer your question? Thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't get the question very much, but I think it's about transparency, good to the user, in our case, to the students. So thank you for the question. In our case, everything is transparent. All the data are open. We store everything in open. Our data sets are stored in open repositories, and also the research is published there. And people can go, and also they can, of course, access to their private data. They can cancel anytime. We inform everyone. In fact, one of the problems that we have, I think, in my view, is that we inform too much. So people get tired, as you say. They actually expect what these people can do for me and get for me, and I don't need so much information. But the information is there for them in the case they want, and also we have people supporting to understand the information. So everything is transparent if people want to reach out.
Yeah, I think,
about ethics and transparency, accountability in AI, we are working with 193 countries in order to find agreement about a resolution which can give guidelines about these crucial topics.
Yeah, so thank you. Thanks for that question. We've actually run out of time, but thank you so much for your questions and for being here. And thank you to my amazing panel, Jolene Lang, partner of Squirrel AI Learning, Ms. Stefania Giannani. We said we'd try and get an Italian name in there. Assistant Director General for Education at UNESCO, and Professor Dr. Daniel Burgess from the Universidad Internacional de La Rioja. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.